Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to an updated mod spotlight on the modular force field system. We've got a bunch of stuff to cover since the last spotlight. Some of it you may have seen in my multiplayer Forgecraft series while we were getting the mods tested and worked out, but now that this version of MFFS is now completely out, Thunderdark has asked me to do an updated mod spotlight, and I happily agreed because it's such an awesome and fun mod. So let's get started talking about some of the differences and changes in MFFS since we last saw it in our latest spotlight a couple months ago. I think one of the things that we had different before was that monazite ore actually dropped as the dust rather than as the ore itself, which is cool, but now it drops as the ore, and there's two things you can do to handle this. You can get yourself a furnace here and just start cooking it up, or you can get yourself a macerator or pulverizer. And you'll quickly note that monazite ore, when cooked in a furnace, will give you 4 of the 4 cilium, and the pulverizer gives you 8. Pretty cool. So pulverize it is probably the best approach to take, and that 4 cilium, of course, is used for all kinds of good stuff. We are, of course, familiar with the MFFS extractor. You place your 4 cilium in the top slot here and supply it a bit of power, and it's going to go ahead and take care of doing whatever it needs to do. So in this case, you can see that we have to apply a redstone signal to the extractor. That's because it's got the little redstone indicator here. And when we turn it off, it's going to stop extracting and it's no longer running. But of course, we could also use the MFFS multi-tool. That guy is available right here. Just switch it to the mode that controls whether things turn on or off, and boom, there you go. It's starting to run again. So those are your options to get your extractor to start running. And one other cool part of 4 cilium, which is an update now, is that you can actually use it as an amplifier. It has the same amplification value as scrap, which is about 5,000. So if you want to use your 4 cilium to amplify your mass fabricators, go for it. Another addition, which I don't think I covered in the last spotlight, was this guy, the compact forcillium cell. He's pretty cool. Just have a bunch of forcicium in your inventory. Forcicum? I don't know how to say that stuff. And right click, and it'll kind of activate the cell. And what that's going to do is it's going to drain all the forcicum out of your inventory and store it in the compact forcicum cell. So if you have a ton of this stuff, you can compact it down into one cell. And then, of course, you can use that cell in your extractor to extract all the forcicum out of it. So it's basically a way of compacting down all your forcicum down into one item. Nice. And that guy, of course, can go right there. Pretty awesome. Your other option here is to place the compact forcicum cell in the top slot here, the one that looks like it's for the cell. When this guy reaches 100%, he's going to give you 1 forcicum. So you'll see this go from 517 to 518 here. Requires a lot of power to do this, so if you want to charge your force field strictly on EU and not use any forcicum, this is an option. And do note that you can use EU Minecraft joules from Buildcraft, or you can use universal electricity power. You'll note that there's a universal electricity connector in the back. Cool. And finally, note that the extractor can be named. Nice. And you can also store force energy in a force crystal by placing it in that top slot there. So all the force energy you collect will go into that crystal. Now, of course, we're familiar with the capacitor. We can set this as a name as well. And you can use a blank card. You can also discharge force energy crystals in here by setting it to this mode, and it'll drain energy out of the crystal and put it in there, or put it in this mode to drain energy out of the capacitor into the crystal. And using the card, we can link it up, and when we create the power card, you can see that it links to Dyer's capacitor. It also tells you what world you're in and the coordinates of the card and whether or not it's valid. So that's a new way of connecting up your force energy to your capacitor. You can name them so it's real quick and easy to see what your cards and specifically what your extractors or other machines are connected to. It's linked to Dyer's capacitor in the test world. And just so you know, there is an admin card for those of you who like building creative maps. So if you want a way to automatically just set up some infinite energy, this is the way to do it. Just go ahead and do that, and boom. You can see we infinitely powered up our capacitor, and we don't have to worry about anything. So get the MFFS Infinite Power Card out of creative mode only. No recipe for this tool if you're creating creative maps or something along those lines. The next change is this guy, the MFFS defense station. I use this quite a bit in my multiplayer series. You guys might be familiar with it by this point. First off, you're going to have to give yourself a power link card that links to your capacitor so you can charge this thing up. Pretty important note. Next, you're going to have to use your multi-tool to create yourself a personal security card. Cool. And that guy is going to have to be placed in this thing right here, the security station. Okay, the security station, boom, right there, is how you can assign rights. Simply place your personal ID card in the top right, and that is the master owner of the security station. You can also set a name up here. Cool. Any other security cards that you get, for example, I'm going to give myself one now. Now, of course, I'm only in a single-player world, so we have to be, pretending like there's other people here. But this is how you assign rights. You can see here, you're setting the different rights that are allowed in this thing. Pretty cool. And you can also copy one user's rights to another. Awesome. So if I set it up so that whoever this player is, let's pretend it's somebody else, like, I don't know, Richard G. We can say allowed to have their items or configure security rights, which means you can change the security settings. Edit MFFS block means that they can actually access the blocks here that are controlled by the security station. You can also set it if they can pass by a force field, if they use the multi-tool in force field bypass mode. So the field teleporter that allows them to pass through a force field, they have to have that security right if the block is controlled by the security station here. Open secure storage, I'll show you that in a minute. Change protected block, stay in area means they won't be killed, and use control system I'll get to in a bit. Pretty cool. Not bad. Once you've assigned the rights to the user's card, simply place them in the right, and you can hold shift to see a list of all the rights that that card owner has. Cool. Now we link up a card to the security station. Once we've right-clicked on the security station, we get this guy, which again has a little note here that tells you where it's linked to, the world, and the coordinates. Nice. We'll install that in this here defense station. We can also set a name. Dyer's Defense. In here, you can set the different ranges and what it actually does. For example, right now it's in inform mode, which tells you that it's only going to send the player a message if they get within range. The range of the action is how far away from this block it actually does something. You can see right now the perimeter is 0. But just get yourself some field modular range upgrades here, and you can throw it in. You'll note that the perimeter of the warning will always be at least 3 further than the action distance. So right now, this guy is taking action 7 blocks away in all directions in a circle around this block. Cool. If we set it to a square, it's going to be in a 7 by 7 square area. Cool. Now we've got a range of 10, so any player walking within range of this thing will get a warning. Let's go ahead and take the master card out of here and get these guys out, and let's see what happens when we activate this thing with a redstone signal. Cool. Let's give it a shot. Well, I was hoping I could demonstrate it on single player for you guys, but I really can't. So just bear in note that any player coming within range of this block will just get a message saying, hey, you're going to get in trouble if you get anywhere closer. But we can click here to change it to kill mode. What that means is within 10 blocks, they'll get a warning that if they get any closer, there's going to be trouble. And then within 7 blocks, they will be killed. The cool thing is it'll collect all the inventory of the killed player and drop it right in this slot here. And if this isn't enough room to collect all your inventory, you can simply get any kind of chest and place it nearby. So for example, if we place a diamond chest near this block right here, we could collect all the items that are dropped by the killed player. Just make sure that your defense station is activated with a redstone signal and you'll be in good shape. Cool. You can also set a different mode. You have to turn the redstone signal off to change it. Search. What that'll do is it will scan the player and remove any banned items. So you can see over here, we can set it from items banned versus items allowed. What this means is if, for example, we didn't want anybody bringing nukes into our base, simply place them in the banned items list. And it'll go ahead and say, hey, if you have any nukes in your inventory, it's going to pull them out and throw them into this block right here. Or again, into the adjacent chest. Cool. You can also set items allowed, so you can say the only thing a player is allowed to bring into my base is dirt, and everything else will be stolen from their inventory. How cool is that? The next one is NPC kill. It'll kill any NPCs, friendly or hostile, in the area of action. You can also set it to only kill hostile NPCs or only friendly NPCs. So those are the different settings for the defense station. It's a really great way to defend your base against intruders. Do keep in mind, though, it requires a good amount of power to control the area around it. It's going to drain some power while it's running, just to keep going at all times, and then anytime it creates an action on a player, depending on what that action is, it'll drain even more power. So just be aware. Now this is a cool block. Remember I told you guys earlier about the security storage? What this is a security block, and you can set up a link to your station here. So I've just linked a link card from the security station over to this block. Now the only people who can access this block, and of course you can name it, the only person who can access this block is the person who has the security rights. So for example, that is the one that says open secure storage. Cool. And you can set it up here to activate with either computer control or by using this little tool right here to switch it on and off. Neat. Next up, we've got this guy, the MFFS converter. What this does is it does kind of the opposite of the extractor in that you can convert force energy into EU. So it's pretty simple to do. Just place either a force energy crystal in there or a link card that connects to your capacitor, and just place it in this slot here. You can see it tells you how much force energy it's got. Right now it's offline. You can also tell it what type of EU packets to use here. So you can set it to however you want. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to output 512 EU packets. You can even multiply it. It looks like that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and flip this guy on by applying a redstone signal. Ta-da! Once you've got that on, it looks like you have to click this button and turn it red, and boom, it quickly drains a bunch of energy out of the force energy crystal and stores it in the MFSU. You can also, like I said, use your link card here. So just gotta click this guy, and boom, we're draining. Look at that. Quickly filling up this MFSU. Huge amount of EU going through this line at the moment. Let's get our EU reader right here and see what's going on. Yep, that's a lot of EU. So you can see it's sending multiple 512 packets. Awesome. Also, one thing I wanted to note about the security station, by the way, is it's also possible to create a blank card. So, for example, this. We can go ahead and place this in here and set the validity of it. So you can see right now, it's got a validity period of 5 minutes, and it's not linked to a player. And we can bump that up a little bit if we want. So by clicking this plus and minus, we can say it's valid for 25 minutes down. So it's about 5-minute increments here that you can get, the validity of this card. So you can give rights to your base for, let's say, 10 minutes, and then you can give it to any player, and that player holds that card, and for 10 minutes they're allowed in your base, and once that card expires, no longer. That is cool. Now this is a pretty cool block. You guys have already seen the MFFS control system mentioned a couple times so far. This guy is neat. Place him down in the world, and then you got to get yourself one of these multi-tools in the data link coder mode and give yourself a blank card. Simply right-click on a block. So let's say the extractor, for example. Boom. That creates a data link card to the extractor, so you can see it right there. Once you place that data link card in the top slot, there we go. It connects up to Dyer's extractor, and you can actually control it through here. You can see how much power is left, what it's linked to. You can change a couple settings. So, for example, we can set it here to be controlled by the control system, and then we can turn it on and off. Look at that. How cool. So right now it's off. You can see the lights are red, and if I click here, it is now going to turn green, and the lights are green. Ha! That is awesome. You can also open the remote GUI, so remotely accessing the GUI of Dyer's extractor right here using this block. How awesome is that? So we could, of course, if we wanted to, check this out. What we can do is we can take our compact cilium cell out, maybe? I don't know, can we? Yep, looks like we can. Awesome. And you can see now the compact cilium cell is not in there. So if you want one master control block that can control all your different MFFS control systems in your base, simply use the data links. You can store extra data links down here and go ahead and place another one up here. Right now I'm controlling my capacitor. Again, we can check out all the different settings and control the capacitor from here. Awesome. Oh, and now I'm messing with the security station. Cool. And finally, the projector here got a few changes, I think. Let's go ahead and check these guys out. Now, of course, you can control them if you want with the block over here, this guy, the control system. But let's check out what the projector has. You can now power it using your force energy crystals if you want. So you can see I can go ahead and put the force energy crystal in there. But that does disable some of the advanced functions like field fusion and the defense system and some other things. So your best bet is usually to use your capacitor card. It also has a new mode called the diagonal wall projector, and this guy can project diagonal walls, which is pretty awesome. Let's give them a shot. So you can see here I'm creating a diagonal wall. Pretty nice. Just set up your projectors in here, and you can project a wall diagonally across this line. Whoa, that is awesome looking. I like it. Let's try a diagonal wall of nukes. That might be funny to see. Ah! Alright guys, the last thing I want to mention to you here is this mode of the multi-tool. It gives you actually a system guide that you can flip through and check out all the different stuff. It gives you a change log, it gives you the current versions and what version is updated. So right now I'm currently on, the current version is 2.8.3.4, the newest version is 2.8.3.4, there you go. Right, so I'm on a version that's not public yet, but it's pretty close to being public. You can get all kinds of cool information here. It tells you pretty much how to use the mod and do other cool things. And I think we're going to have more stuff added to that in the future. And with that, I think we've pretty much covered all the new additions and changes to the modular force field system. At least the list that Thunderdark gave me I've completed. I hope I haven't missed anything. So this is Direwolf20 signing off on MFFS. It's a pretty awesome mod that allows all kinds of security and control around who's allowed to come in your base, what they're allowed to do in there, force fields, awesome builds, so many cool things. MFFS, definitely one of my favorite mods. Definitely recommend you guys checking it out if you haven't already. Alright guys, take it easy.